Good morning once again, and welcome to the Haven Financial Group radio show. I'm Larry Kolvig, founder and CEO of the Haven Financial Group, on with Mitch Moss, a retirement specialist here at the Haven Financial Group. If you're looking for more information or something that we're talking about today, or maybe other shows, key retirement topics that you have questions, worries, concerns, reservations, or you just don't know, how about you get those questions answered? Feel free to come on in and visit with us. Because if you've been having a question for years, why didn't you get it answered? Because you probably never asked it, or nobody knew you had the question. So again, that's the purpose of what we do in retirement. And we're very proud to do it. So updates, just when you figure things out, they make changes, some good, some bad, some indifferent. And how do you find out about those changes?
Well, you find out about them through folks like you, I think, because otherwise you have to go and read that booklet, like you said. And I don't think too terribly many people are planning to do so. So let's start with this, Mitch. Obviously, cost of living adjustment in 2025. We talked about this at the start of the show, but let's recap that and where that stands this year.
The average cost of living, or the cost of living for 2025, is 2.5% increase this last year. 2024 was 3.2. So obviously we've seen a reduction in the cost of living from last year to this year because obviously inflation is starting to dwindle a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. What do you think are some of the biggest changes this year that people really need to be aware of?
Well, a couple of things. Obviously, the maximal taxable earnings went from 168,000 to 176. There's a max benefit that you can receive from Social Security based on, your years of service, right? How much have you made over those years and paid into Social Security? The max last year was 168.6. And this year it jumped to 176 because there is a max benefit. I've always had people come in and they say, how come I got a little bit of pay raise? They were high wage earners in, November, December. It's because they hit that 176 or that 168 number. And then they got a little bit more because they weren't paying into the Social Security Administration. So that's a big change. The other thing is the tax credit or the credits, right? You can get 4 credits a year. So in 2024, the maximum it was $72.40 for 4 credits. In 2025, it's went up to $18.10. So you've had to earn a little bit more to earn those credits. That obviously goes up every year because, again, they're just making changes.
Mitch, what are those credits? Explain that, if you will.
So you need a 10-year work history to qualify for Social Security. And that 10-year work, you can get 4 credits a year based on basically, call it, $7,240 a year. So those 4 credits over 10 years gives you 40 credits, and that's how you qualify. I know Larry has a story about somebody who came in and she didn't have full credits. But again, that's, you have to have 10 years. Now, if you get to 9 years and 9 months, do you qualify? No. Right? It has to be 10 or more.
Okay. All right. So full retirement age, we talked about that. It has gone up.
Correct. The full retirement age. And we've known that these were the calculations several years. I've had a sheet on my desk that states, they say this year, obviously now that if you were born over 1960, your full retirement age now is 67. If you were born in 59, it's 66 and 10 months. If you're born in 58, it's 66 and 8 months, et cetera. But now it's 67, right? And that's the max that we have right now. They haven't made any changes to extend those out. Like I was saying earlier, the changes I think that are coming down the road is they're going to change that again. So it might be 67 and some months, maybe all the way up to 68, depending on the year of birth.
Yeah, okay. Kim, if I could summarize, if you earliest you're going to take it is 62. From 62 to 66, it grows by 6% plus the cost of living adjustment, whatever that applicable number is.
Okay.
From 66 to 70, we call those delayed credits. It grows by 8% plus the cost of living adjustment. So the reality is, longer you wait, the bigger the check. Now, for a married couple, maybe the lower breadwinner takes it earlier. The higher breadwinner maybe just waits a little bit longer because the surviving spouse is going to get that higher amount. If you take Social Security early, there's going to be a reduction. No way around it. There could be for you, of course, and then your spouse if they take it early. So that's why we want people to make an educated decision. Just don't take it because everybody else in your family's taking it. Yeah. Are we trying to steer people to make them wait? Absolutely not. Susie Orman thinks that pretty much everybody should wait till 70. For some, that's the right answer. And for many, that's the absolute wrong answer. It's really individual. Your variables in your life are your variables. Are you going to continue to work? Are you not going to work? Is it a part-time job? What are the other income streams? All of these are variables. Maybe you have longevity. Everybody in your family lives past 90. Well, I would hope that you might be waiting till 70 then.
Right.
Again, it's just making a thoughtful, educated decision, because over time, that's a lot of dollars.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, Mitch, we've talked about some of the changes in 2025, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who are listening who maybe didn't know about those or have some questions about them. And again, you can call 612-504-8400. That's the Haven Financial Group, and tell them that you heard us here on the radio, that you heard Mitch Moss talking about Social Security and some of the changes in 2025, and you've got some questions about them. I want to ask you, though, Mitch, about what you think is the biggest mistake that people make when it comes to Social Security.
It's taking it right away at 62 and not knowing the ramifications or the benefits that'll help them going forward. One of the biggest things I always kind of ask my clients, I go, well, what did your person, maybe the person that you're working with, what did they say about Social Security? And I usually get, well, we've never really talked about it. And as Larry's talked many, many times over this radio show, that Social Security is the number one income stream for retired Americans. So if you're not talking about the benefits of Social Security, I get this a lot of times. Those folks out there that have pensions, you're going to love that pension. Larry talks about it all the time too. But would you take a reduction in your pension by taking it early? And those people that have pensions are absolutely like, no way, I'm going to get the most I can out of that pension. Well, we want to do the same thing on Social Security, because again, I've got lots of clients. They have a good pension. You're going to love it. Along with Social Security, all those benefits, that every dollar you take out of Social Security is less a dollar we have to worry about taking out of your IRAs or your Roths or your other accounts. Maybe you want to plan for legacy. That might leave more money to the kids, or more money for vacations, or more money for whatever it might be, by taking those benefits at a later date and getting the higher benefit. And again, like Larry says, longevity and things of that nature. We want to get the most we can out of it.
Sure, absolutely. And so when someone comes in and sits down and talks with you, what are the questions they should be asking about their own personal situation? What are the things that they need to be aware of to share with you so that they can make the most out of drawing Social Security?
Well, I ask some qualifying questions, right? They're going to be ballpark type questions. I don't need to know super specifics. What do you have here? What do you have there? What are your goals? What are your objectives in retirement? And based on those qualifying questions, we can go through and start figuring out, okay, what are going to be the income needs going forward, right? Is there a reason? Do we have to max out Social Security? Is there a reason to work a little bit more? Is there a reason to draw off your qualified funds first to let that Social Security benefit grow? And we'll do some basic math and kind of show you what those outcomes really will come out to.
One of the things we haven't talked about, but I know that Larry, you have talked about in previous shows, and that's the fact that it's not both of you, if you come in as a couple, not both of you need to turn it on at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. We do this strategy a lot. So husband and wife might come in, and one might not have had as good a work history as the other one. So we might start collecting that benefit early. We always want to start on the smaller benefit and max out the higher of the two benefits. And we might shift and say, all right, well, we're going to, even though you both might be retiring at the same time, we still might collect that lower benefit first, live off of some of those qualified funds, and then pick that other one up at a higher rate, because the higher benefit always lives on. And don't you want to leave your spouse or significant other the higher benefit for the rest of their life if something, God forbidding, happened to you?
Absolutely. All right. So what would you gentlemen like our listeners to walk away from this show knowing today?
Well, I think most importantly that it should be an educated decision. It's a big decision, and it's oftentimes thought of so flippantly, well, I'm just going to turn it on because that's what I do. And that's the wrong way to look at it. We don't have to make it complicated. We certainly don't, but put some thought into it, because numerous times, almost every single week, people come in with this idea, this notion that this is what they're going to do. And with conversations that they have with us, and Mitch specifically, they leave there going, well, my idea wasn't the right idea. And had I not had this conversation, we would have probably made the wrong decision. If that's what a conversation can bring out is a possible right decision, why not take advantage of it? Social Security is the discussion today. It has been. it's one of the retirement puzzle pieces. There's numerous retirement pieces, puzzle pieces, if you will, that need to be discussed. This one being one of them, taxes being another one. We're in the middle of tax season. Forward-thinking tax planning. Lance, our CPA, it's his favorite time of the year because he's doing taxes. He's as happy as ever, making sure Uncle Sam doesn't get any more than they deserve. So the taxes, the investments, if you're worried about the markets, we've had volatility lately, stress test that portfolio. And Medicare, if you're retiring this year, or maybe you got a pink slip that you didn't see coming, healthcare is a big discussion that people, they don't talk about it and think about it enough. So there should be coordination in all these retirement areas, more so in retirement than ever. And up until this point, if you've not been retired, you probably haven't thought of it that way.
Mm-hmm. Mitch, we're just about out of time here. Very quickly, any final thoughts from you?
Come on in, get that 14-page report. It's going to help you out in any of your planning.
I love that. Mitch Moss, retirement specialist. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. 612-504-8400. That's the number. And that's how you can get some of these questions that you have lingering answered. Come in and visit with the specialist there at Haven Financial Group. Larry, enjoyed it.
Thanks, Kim. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.